Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Victor, lead us in prayer, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful, beautiful day that you've allowed us to come together. We thank you for everything that you're doing here. God, we ask for your grace, your mercy, your direction. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. All seated. You need a roll call?
Counselor Howard,
Here.
Counselor Watson,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Here.
Mayor Becker,
Here.
Counselor Lorenz is absent this evening and is excused. And a quorum is declared.
We have any modifications to the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, approval of the consent agenda, the minutes from regular meeting of August 21st, 2025, and approval of accounts payable.
I motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting from August 24th or 21st of 2025
And approval of accounts payable.
and approval of accounts payable.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda for the minutes of regular meeting from August 21st, 2025, and approval of accounts payable. Is there any discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Aye.
Mayor Becker,
Aye.
motion carries to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we'll move on to citizen comments. City council welcomes unscheduled comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and council will not take action at this meeting. Is there any citizens that want to say anything? You're on the schedule. So. Okay. Scheduled appearances. In order to be on this, you have to, in order to be included in this portion of the agenda, you have to file your appropriate paperwork with the city clerk no later than noon on Monday prior to the meeting. So we'll go with the high school building project, Mr. Woodkey's class. Guys, be sure and introduce yourselves.
Aaron Woodkey, I'm the Monte Vista High School, building trades instructor.
I'm Logan Futrell, and I'm a junior at Monte Vista High School.
I'm John Jake Naranjo. I'm also a junior. Not able to be with us at this moment is Mark Martinez, who's also a junior at Monte Vista High School.
So we're here to give information to the entire city on a project that we have going on at the high school. So I will let the two students present their information.
Thank you for letting us join you guys this evening. Mark only does this slide, so forgive me if it's a little rough.
He might be here.
Well, he can kick me out. You might have heard about our woodshop program at Monte Vista. Never mind. Sorry about that, everybody.
Traffic, right?
Not more like football. Sorry about being late. My name is Mark Martinez. This is my second year taking woodshop. During my first year, I don't know if we talked about HPI or getting your OSHA 10 or anything about that, but I earned all that my first year of taking woodshop. And during this slide, I want to talk about our program partner, Careers in Construction Colorado, also known as CICC. They are a great program that helps high school students like me and my classmates get jobs, get that jump start on whether you're trying to be an electrician, a plumber, or an architect. And they educate, empower, and employ. And that's really all I have for you.
Matt. Is it Matt or Mike?
Mark.
I'm sorry, Mark.
You're okay.
close.
I should know that. That's my husband's name. So Mark, why don't you tell council what CCI stands for?
Careers in Construction Colorado.
And they are based in
Really based out of Mark.
Colorado Springs.
Good job. You're doing fine.
Thank you.
My clicker isn't working. Oh, okay.
So our goals for this project is to build a house in Monte Vista, to give somebody in the community a house to live in. And we also want to give the students in the woodshop program the hands-on experience while building the house. So that when they go on to buy their own house, they know what's in it and all about that stuff. Ways to support us for individuals or businesses to support us if by sharing what we're trying to do and volunteering at the job sites and supporting us how you can, whether that's through funding or helping out at the job site.
The benefits of building this house. So throughout this project, you'll get to see the community really come together and get more united than we've seen in projects throughout this community. You get to see the youth go to businesses and meetings like this. We've been to the county commissioners, the Chamber of Commerce, and you don't really see that a lot nowadays, especially from high school students. And that really shows how united we are as a community, especially in building this project. It also is a way to get our youth engaged. A lot of these kids in this program wouldn't get this kind of opportunity if it weren't for this program, and that is really big, especially in such a rural community. It also could get somebody new into the community. If we were to sell this house to somebody young trying to kickstart their life, and they see how amazing our community is in the sense that we're so united, we came together and did this as one and made such an amazing project, it could really encourage them to give back that same effort into the community. It also provides students in this program with hands-on experience in building and planning everything that goes into the house, whether it's drawing out the sketch or being actually on the site. These skills go much farther than our high school years, especially if this is a career we want to explore. On that, it also could provide us with future job opportunities. Like Mark said, CICC can take these skills that we have throughout this program and provide us with job opportunities as soon as we get out of high school. It's also a fun experience. We get to include ourselves with our classmates and our peers and community members and do something that we've never done before. And then we can come back years later and see, like, hey kids, that's my house. Like I built that house when I was your age. And it's a way for us to leave our mark here and let the community know what we've done. For businesses in this program, it's a great way to advertise, different than putting your ad in the radio or in the paper, because you can show kids what your business is all about. If you go in and do electrical work and you show these kids what you're doing, they could go home and tell their parents or guardians, this business is really amazing. They're good people, they do good work. I think we should consider them next time we need something. And then maybe they do that. And it's just a way for that business to get out there. They also give back to the community that supports them. This is huge, especially in such a rural community like Monte Vista, because without all the community members supporting that business, they wouldn't really survive as much as they are. So for them to give back, once again, shows how united as we are as a community. They could also be teaching their future workforce. What I mean by that is, like I said, through CICC, these kids could be learning how to do these things and then go work for that company later. And it's just a little extra step that the business doesn't have to take because that student already knows how to put in electrical work, already knows how to do plumbing. What does that mean? Nice. Here you can see our sponsors. We have two categories right now, silver and gold. In the silver category, Valley Electric, McQuitty Plumbing, RG Bank, Colorado Farm Bureau Agency, Matthias Concrete, Buffalo Broadcasting, Roberts Group Real Estate. Whoops. Yeah, I think that was all of our silver sponsors who are all either donating or selling us at cost, all of their respective things for the program. Our gold sponsor, Greeny Mountain Lumber, is selling us at cost all of the materials we need for this program. All the way from studs to roofing to doors to windows, they are selling it to us at cost, which is huge.
Yeah.
That QR code right there sends you to a Google form, a way to get involved. That it asks some questions like, what can you provide to us? What is your business? What do you think about this program? That's all right there.
Hold on, don't move. Okay. Is there a way to post this to the school site or the city site or something like that?
It will be posted on the schools, it will be posted on the school
So
website.
somebody else can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the kids are in the process of doing this, so I made a presentation to the URA,
Mr. Woodkey, would you please come up to the
Sorry.
microphone?
So I made a presentation with the URA about a month ago before school started. So this idea of this project is literally a project from the beginning of the school year to the end of the school year, because oftentimes kids don't see what goes into a project. So that is one of my main objectives, no matter when we start, that we start in August and we try to finish by May. So the kids in a school year get to see what it takes and how to do all the other processes that are involved in building a house. So this is their third presentation, so they're still kind of learning about what all there is to offer. We do have some updated information that they're still putting in. I'm proud to say that we have a former alum, Monte Vista local, that's working with an architectural firm in Denver, Graham Oden, was a graduate of Monte Vista, and his firm has agreed to help us out with the architectural plans. So we're getting a lot of good buy-in with locals, even though they may not still be here. So super exciting.
So explain your deal with the URA. Tell me about that. Tell us about that.
So what we went and talked to the URA to see if we can work out some sort of an agreement for property. So that we could build a house on one of the properties that the URA has within the city limits of Monte Vista.
Did you guys come up with the location?
We have not come up with a location or an agreement yet. We're hopefully going to be there in their October board meeting, because I believe September's board meeting didn't happen.
So talk about kind of how this is going in phases and what, besides seeing the finished product, the certifications that students get at the end.
So, like Mark had said, Careers in Construction Colorado is our main source that we're going through. And they were started by the Colorado Housing Builders Association in Colorado Springs. We're considered to be a satellite school for them. And so they've made us an agreement to be a satellite school. So they provide us services through the internet. And we have an advisor that comes down that helps just Monte Vista and Southern Colorado schools. And she has got the kids to be able to do HBI through the Home Builders Institute, nationally certified program. They will get a PAC 10 core certificate, which shows that they have some basic skills to enter the workforce. They also have gotten us hooked up with OSHA 10. So it's a nationally recognized certificate that the kids will hold for the rest of their lives. The big things behind both of those is it gives our kids one step ahead of any other kid here in the valley. Quite frankly, in a lot of the other schools, they're up to 91 schools in the state. I don't know how many schools there are in the state, but they still have a long ways to go to be into every school. So our kids will leave ideally with an HBI certificate, a PAC, the PAC core. Then they will also leave with an OSHA 10. For somebody like Mark, they have other dive deeper specialties. So he can dive deeper into HVAC. He can dive deeper into electrical. He can dive deeper into, don't quote me, I think there's 10 or 12 other specialties that he can dive deeper into. With a kid obtaining a certificate, it helps us at the school for funding, because I can then turn around and show that kids have nationally recognized certificates. And I can go through a CDIP program to apply for additional funds to help support our program. So it's not taking directly anything away from the operational of the school. It is additional funding. Then she's helped us out with a lot of job shadowing opportunities. So We went with Alcon Construction. We went to Crestone last year and saw their tiny home development that was being built by Alcon. She also got us to Fading West Development in Buena Vista. So we've been able to go tour that facility twice over the last 3 years. We're getting ready to go down to Alpine Lumber, and the kids are going to see Wednesday how to take a tree from a standing tree to turn it into lumber. And then they will walk out at the end of the day, having built the side of a solid log cabin. So those are some of the experiences that CICC has been able to afford our kids to be able to help. She's also made contacts for us with other school districts in the state of Colorado that have done similar projects. Though Monte Vista is about the most rural area that anything like this has happened in, a lot of the programs are in the Front Range or in the the high Rockies, where there's a lot of development and need for affordable housing because of skyrocketing prices in mountain areas and towns. So I opted to go with a small home rather than a tiny home. A lot of those mountain communities have gone to tiny homes, but through research, tiny homes have to be paid for by cash, and they are not very easily financed by banks. So Summit High School did a tiny home last year. I forget how many exact square feet it is, somewhere around 450 square feet, price tag of $90,000. But it has solar package, it has granite countertops, it is Summit County, right? So things are a lot different there. I didn't feel with all the additional inspections that we were going to need, certifications that I had to obtain and everything else, that was going to be the best fit for us here. That is a backup plan to be able to work and co-op with one of those mountain schools who have grants for those to try to be able to build the tiny home if we can't get enough funding to make the house go.
What kind of funding are you looking for? As far as what, you got a dollar figure yet?
So we're somewhere around 140,000, depending upon where we're at for land. If we include land with fees or without, we're looking somewhere around a 1,200 square foot home, so nothing super large. So that's kind of where we're looking.
How many students are in the program, do you think?
So I went through and did a count. I've got like 44 kids that are actively involved in the program, and we have some more that are starting to register and go through the Delta Center and the online academy, which are still part of the Monte Vista district, that are inquiring if they can join the program and be part of it as well. So that number could grow.
Like you really?
Yeah.
Is it gonna include all the trades on the job?
So they will be working side by side with all the licensed contractors. We cannot pull permits, so they will have to pull all the permits. They will be working side by side with electrical contractors, plumbing contractors, concrete. We have three former students that are employed with electrical contractors. They're also joining. One of them was Power Pro, so the Millers. It's by Daniel Miller, a junior in class. I actually took him to Louisville, Kentucky for the National Skills USA competition in electrical. And so his dad has agreed to help us on the site. And then we also have two other brothers, the Ulbrichs, who are just not far from the school, work for Valley Electric. Mark Hensley in Alamosa has agreed to also help with the electrical portion of things. So we'll have hopefully 3 former students there on site helping kids that are here as well.
Then I have a question.
Yes, Mrs.
So as you're looking at the finished product,
Yes.
have you had a chance to visit with Chaffa yet?
Yes, so that is actually one of our gap funding sources. As soon as we have a dollar amount, we are working with Kaylee Romero with Jaffa and getting information put together with them to see if we can double our monies, basically.
Cool. And what do you think the average size is
Average size
of the home? Are you looking at like 1,000 square feet, 1,200?
About 1,200 square feet. About 1,200 square feet. I've talked with several realtors here in town. They've suggested if we could, go to three bedrooms, because that opens up a little bit more audience than a 2-bedroom. And if we could do like a bath and a half minimum, or a 2 baths if we can fix it into the design.
And then I don't know if council's interested, but DJ can tell you the 4 properties potentially that the URA has. You want to do that?
Sure.
I can
Go hard.
I can help. you.
I can help. I know 3 of them.
So it's only the 3, because the 4th one is potentially sold in this process.
Okay,
So they're 2 properties on the 500 and 600 block of Franklin, and 1 on South Broad. Right, South Broad, yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. The kids did do the presentation to the county commissioners, to the Chamber of Commerce. And you guys want to ask, you want me? Okay. I will let John Jake kind of finish, unless you have any other further questions. Okay.
I did a similar program when I was in school a long ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see it coming back. Yes. So our main goal in coming here, not only to kind of show you guys what we're doing, is to ask for a letter of support. We have one from the county commissioners and one is pending from the chamber
The chamber, and then we do have 1 in hand for the school.
and the school board. So we're asking for one from the city too, if possible.
We can do that, I'm sure.
I'm good with it. You have a draft?
No,
Okay.
we can share the other letters. but-
I'm sure our city manager. Yeah, she. You make a draft up. Sign you up there.
It would just help, as we're applying for more grants,
Sure.
that they want to know what other entities have been involved, what steps we've gone through. We don't have a grant writer, we don't have anybody, so I'm doing this and teaching, and so, if we can get really close to that mark, we have, Sean Davis with the RG, has said, do what you can, come talk to us, but there's some things that the school board can't do because they're a public school and so on and so forth, so we're trying to navigate what things we can and can't do that way. Ideally, it would be great if we could find enough grant funding, but again, I have no idea. We could chase that for years and years.
What about like material donation too? Like,
So I will honestly say, I don't think there's anything yet that anybody has asked that I've said no to.
some companies, it's easier for them to just donate material that.
Right.
From certain projects and stuff.
Yeah, so we have overruns and, we have cabinet companies and a lot of things that these kids have contacted and emailed, and we're just kind of waiting on responses.
and what about tools or equipment?
We will need some more tools. We will need some, like a storage facility. We obviously can't pack up and take things back and forth 6 times, 7 times a day. We're trying to work with a few companies to see if we can make that happen now, but
Like
again, just,
comments on site or something like that.
that's what we're gonna try and do. Yeah, we have one at the school, but I don't know if it's feasible to get that moved and then get it moved back,
Or
or
even maybe just a large game box that you can keep on site for just toolage and all that stuff, storage of that.
Right, so I do have some other grants with Carl Perkins through Career and Technical Education that we're waiting on to see if they get, funded or not. I started this process years ago and really started hitting it hard about February of this year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, support.
Well, that's all we have for you guys. Thank you for letting us come and present to you. If you have any questions, we have the QR code up there. The school, great place to contact Mr. Woodkey as well.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for being here. Great,
Just leave it up.
great job. So I consider too, even if you have like one electrical company helping out with permitting, I would have as many visits as possible, some of your plumbing companies, because they might just look at
people coming up and might offer jobs.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
One other question I had for you, Mr. Woodkey, would you explain how this is, there's opportunities, I believe, freshman through senior, it's not just like for your juniors.
Correct, that is a freshman or senior program, so as long as they're enrolled at Monte Vista High School, we will take kids that are freshmen through seniors. And that's why it's also open to the online academy and the Delta Center.
Very good. Good job, Mr. Woodkey. Yes.
Got a ways to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. DJ, you must be getting ready to come up because everybody's. Replat of L 6, 7, and 11, block 5, Price edition.
Good evening, guys. Once again, everybody, the reason I get up, it's awesome.
They just found that was an option.
Turning to quite the joke here. I'm gonna start moving my stuff to the very, very end. So, I have, Kurt Farley, he's also online. If you have questions for him, and then also the current owners of the property are here. So in your package, you have the replat. It's the same concept as we had for last month, except for with a different property. This is the current Mountain View property, which will be redone into a Dollar General. Consolidating 3 lots into a single lot, so it conforms to the International Building Code, as well as a partial easement. And the easement, we did make that sure that we had all the utility providers that utilize any portion of that easement. We got a letter from them that said they had no objections to it. So we were able to get all of that completed. The Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval. The 3 members that were there all voted yes to it. So that's what I have for you today, and you guys have all of those drawings. If you have a question, I can by all means answer them. This one is, again, fairly simple, just like the last one.
None for me.
There's no questions, and I would just ask for a vote. Or a motion, I guess.
Motion to replat lots 6, 7, and 11, block 5, price edition.
Second.
And moved and seconded the replat of L 6, 7, and 11, block 5, the Price edition. To 1 lot. Is there any discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to replat lot 6, 7, and 11 and block 5 to the Price edition for the Dollar General with a easement. Okay. No, you're not up yet.
No, you're not up yet. We're on the model traffic code.
Oh, Eugene's up.
Bye, Ronnie. Take care.
I'm there, that's not good.
So we are on public hearing for model traffic code ordinance 932 adopting the 2025 model traffic code. Mr. Farish. Yes, sir. Council?
Are you appointing me as the hearing officer on this?
I'm sorry.
Are you appointing me as hearing officer on this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I'm going to do a combination of things. First of all, let's go on record, because this is a public hearing. The notice of public hearing stated that notice is hereby given of public hearing before the city council of the city of Monte Vista, Colorado at 6:30 p.m. on the fourth day of September 2025, located at City Hall, 95 West First Avenue, Monte Vista, Colorado, for the purpose of considering the adoption by reference of the model traffic code 2025 edition as the traffic ordinance of the city of Monte Vista. Copies of the model traffic code are on file at the office of the city clerk, the website of the city, and may be inspected during regular business hours if enacted as an ordinance of this town. The model traffic code will not be published in full, but in accordance with state law, copies will be kept on file and or on the website of the town. The model traffic code 2025 edition is published by the city of Monte Vista, a Colorado Home Rule Municipality, 95 West First Avenue, Monte Vista, Colorado, 81144, and is based on the Colorado Department of Transportation, Traffic Engineering and Safety Branch, 2829 West Howard Place, Denver, Colorado, 80204, Model Traffic Code 2024, Revision 1.0. This code will replace the 2020 version of the Model Traffic Code as published by said city and effective on the third day of November 2022. This code will be integrated into the municipal code of the city of Monte Vista, published by the city of Monte Vista on August the 19th, 2009, and effective on August 24th, 2009. The subject matter of the model traffic code relates primarily to comprehensive traffic control regulations for the city of Monte Vista. The purpose of the ordinance and the code adopted therein is to provide a system of traffic regulations consistent with state law and generally conforming to similar regulations throughout the state and nation. At its regular meeting following the hearing, the city council will consider passage of the adopting ordinance. This notice is given and published by order of the city council of the city of Monte Vista, Colorado, dated the 7th day of August 2025. The first publication of the notice of hearing was on August the 13th, 2025, and the second publication on August 20th, 2025. So in doing this, we have to adhere to the procedures for adoption of a code by reference, as well as provisions of the Monte Vista City Charter. We will allow anyone to testify who desires to. Any questions by the city council, any persons who, after we open it for proponents to testify, anybody in opposition to it could testify. All witnesses will be sworn. When we close the public hearing, we will remand this matter to the city council for action. CDOT is waiting to hear our response tomorrow morning. In the last emails that we communicated with them, we have quite a stack of communication going back and forth with CDOT and their engineer on this matter. And I think they are prepared to give us an approval on this after passage. They want to see the signed ordinance, so we set it up already with our office to transmit to them a signed copy of the ordinance, assuming that the council passes this evening, tomorrow morning. And from that point on, it will be a publication in the newspaper and would become law 30 days thereafter. In adopting the model traffic code, we went through quite a process. with not only our chief, but several of the chiefs in the valley. We had a meeting back at the end of March. Um, uh, Comments on the code, desires of what to put into the code, what to leave out of the code. The CDOT version of the code is about 230 pages. Ours boils that down to 90 pages. The CDOT version has a lot of things about the county, which are not pertinent. So we tried to get rid of anything that's not relevant to the city of Monte Vista. Some of the things are judgment calls when you get into weights of vehicles and how those are going to be determined, what violations there are there and this kind of thing. But for the most part, we follow the same, we have to follow the same statement of what the charges are, whether it's careless driving or speeding or something like that. We divided the charges into two categories: offenses and infractions. Infractions are handled non-criminally as an administrative matter, and the person does have a right to trial, of course, on infractions. Offenses are more serious. Anything from and it's not based entirely on point count, but offenses can be things like vehicular looting, speeding more than 40 miles an hour over the speed limit, reckless driving, careless driving even, speed contests, speed exhibitions, things like that. Most of the citations given out by far are infractions. Regular speeding cases, failure to stop at stop signs, disregarding traffic signals, not signaling, and so forth. The CDOT was insistent that we put into the ordinance that any traffic infractions or offenses which are set forth as violations in the code and differ from identical traffic infractions or offenses in Title 42 would not be enforced on state or federal highways in the municipality. So I had my staff do readbacks back and forth between what we had down and what was in their draft, which follows Title 42. The ordinance, I'm not going to read the whole thing. The ordinance will need to be published in full, not the code, but the ordinance itself, in order to adopt the code. And it has a section for adoption. It has a section for penalties, because you have to put the penalties in when you're adopting codes by reference. Ours also has the surcharges, the fines, and the point counts in there, make it easier for the officers when they're citing. Throughout the 12th judicial district, there are a lot of towns that have different provisions when it comes to things like ATVs. Ours just prohibits ATVs basically on city streets. Some of them are quite different, like Southfield, for example, but that's because they butt up against a national forest. The traffic code covers moving traffic violations, equipment on vehicles, the stopping and standing of vehicles. It has a whole litany of definitions. Looks like about 120 definitions. School bus requirements, vehicles abandoned on public property is part of this. And in that regard, we're trying to make the nuisance code compatible with the MTC so that we don't have different provisions from vehicles being abandoned on private property. So we got about three categories there, really, because we got vehicles on private property, which can become a nuisance that have been abandoned, that have to be towed. But we've also got vehicles on public property, street rights of way, even alleys, that might have to be towed. We want to have some consistency in those provisions. Also, there might be vehicles that are on public property, which are not on street rights of way. If somebody leaves a vehicle at City Hall, for example, or the park, someplace like that, and inside of, not on the street right away. And that's being covered under the nuisance code. We have also placed into the code in anticipation the automated camera provisions. So that assuming that those go forward, and Alec tells me that they're working on getting that finished up, we will have that in the code already. So with that, are there any persons who desire to testify about this? And I don't see any, I will take any comments or testimony pro and con, but I don't see anyone except city staff really here on this tonight. Any questions by council? Okay. That being the case, I'm going to remand this matter to the city council and ask for action on ordinance 923. And we would very much, assuming that you pass this, we would very much like to get this signed immediately, Mayor, so that we can proceed to communicate with CDOT tomorrow morning.
I motion to pass ordinance 932 adopting the 25 model traffic code.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to accept ordinance number 923, an ordinance for the regulation of traffic by the city of Monte Vista, Colorado, adopting the reference Monte Vista Model Traffic Code 2025. Repealing all ordinances in conflict therewith and providing penalties for violations thereof.
Is it code 932 or 923?
923.
Is it 923?
Typo.
It's ordinance 932.
Okay, then this one needs to be changed.
Ordinance
Did we
932.
give you the right?
Yeah, I have the right one. So Tammy sent me the right one. with
Ordinance
mine.
930.
932.
Okay,
So it's
okay, you've
I
got that.
have the right one.
Okay, so he'll sign yours. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
930.
932, so ordinance number 932. Is there any discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve ordinance 932, adopting the 2025 model traffic code.
Okay, now we'll move to ordinances. Ordinance 933.
Well,
Amending section 5-1-40. Abatement of nuisances, alternative procedure of chapter 5 nuisances.
I think this part is mine also. This is, council is aware we are working on the nuisance code at the present time. And making revisions to the nuisance code. This is part of that. And this really originated in all fairness with our municipal judge, who would like to see a procedure for temporary restraining orders when it comes to dealing with closures of drug houses and things like this. So we went to Title 16, and that's what she's used to is in the county court. There's provision in Title 16 for temporary restraining orders under this where you can close houses and do things like that. Take property if you have to that's being used for criminal purposes, criminal uses. So that's what this particular ordinance is designed to do. And it goes right into part of our chapter 5 right now on nuisances under the abatement procedures. So this isn't designed to do anything except enhance the tools available for eradicating these types of nuisances with restraining orders. So we are requesting passage of this particular ordinance by the council at this time.
And Jean, if you can, explain how this is gonna be helpful for them on our code enforcement.
Law enforcement, they can go before the judge and request a restraining order, temporary restraining order. They can close down something that probable cause exists to believe that it is a drug house. It's kind of used in the middle sector of everything that can wait on something for judicial action to something that has to be done immediately. There are kind of three branches of this whole process. And sometimes you can go in and you can do a confiscation of property. Sometimes, and that may be a lengthy proceeding, but it doesn't always require immediate action. You can also go in where there's a serious threat to public safety, but it doesn't exactly mean that something is going to happen today if you don't do something. And then there's the case where officers have to act immediately, gasoline spill or something like electric cords out there and this kind of thing to eradicate the situation. So this is designed in that medium area where you want to close down something, you want to confiscate some property. This thing would be valid for 1 year, I believe, as it's stated now, and would allow you to go from that stage to a total confiscation stage later on, and to remove people from the building. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I make a motion to adopt ordinance 933, amending section 5-1-40, subsection 7, payment of nuisances and alternate procedure of chapter 5 nuisances.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to accept ordinance 933, amending section 5-1-40. 7, abatement of nuisances, alternative procedure of chapter 5 nuisances. Is there any discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola.
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve ordinance 933, amending section 5-1-40, section 7, abatement of nuisances and alternative procedures of chapter 5 of nuisances on first reading.
Okay, we'll move on to contracts, agreements and leases, amendment design contract MMOF/HISP grant. Now it's your turn, Rob. No, because we had a few more acronyms. It's their turn to go mouth real quick.
Good evening, council. Tonight, I'm bringing you something I normally wouldn't bring in front of you.
But I wanted to make sure you fully understand what's going on. So tonight is an amendment to the design contract with KLJ Engineering. And the reason I'm doing this is we've received 2 grants, and council's aware that received our MMOF, that's the multimodal grant that takes the sidewalk from Sky High and brings it all the way to the Alta right by the railroad tracks. You guys are well aware of that project. That's the design, and that's at 90% completion.
The design.
In design. So this, what needs to be done, there's a few more, what CDOT calls the FOR, the field office review. There's some comments on some of those items that JLK needs to finish and do some improvements on their reports. There's also the temporary construction easements that need to be purchased, and the legal documents need to be done through the federal process. And then we also received the HSIP, which is the Sherman intersection. And that's a project that DJ applied for and received the grant for, that will take that intersection and turn it more into a 90-degree intersection with State Highway 160. We fully estimate that on the MMOF project that we're going to be shy on construction funds. The HSIP grant is probably going to have an excess in construction funds because of the smallness of that project. But individually, we're going to pay an exorbitant amount for like mobility and getting contractors on, because they're going to charge us more. Plus, based on the smallness of both individual grants, materials are going to cost more. So in discussions with CDOT, they felt that if we combine them both into one project, since they do touch each other, that we can go ahead and do that. We can use the funds from both grants to offset any shortages and give us a better product, because we will have an economy of scale that we otherwise wouldn't have. So this document is the addition to that original contract, and what it does is covers the design for the Sherman intersection. It covers the additional environmental drainage and the other things that CDOT's gonna have, and it'll go from initial, which we're doing now, to 30%. And then at 30%, we'll start combining the 2 projects into one for another 90% review. And it'll cover us all the way up to sending out bid documents for the combined project. And in this bid for the do not exceed price of $121,060.11 covers the third party certified temporary easement obtainer. That's not exactly the title, but it's a person that has the federal certifications to obtain temporary easements. So this person, that's his fees included in it. So this is an all-encompassing amendment that covers everything else that remains in design. We are requiring them to have all documents ready to go to bid by early 2026. We're gonna bid this project and be in construction next summer. Okay, so all I'm doing tonight is asking council to approve the amendment and to allow Gigi to go ahead and sign it. I would like to, just to get the surveyors on board, have Gigi sign it tonight. I'm gonna go in the office, email it over to the contractor and get things rolling.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget amendment resolution 2025-18 and have Gigi sign.
No, it's the next, they want to. The amendment.
Oh yeah, the amendment design contract, MMOF/HISP grant, and have Gigi sign.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded to amend the design contract MMOF and SP grant. And have the city manager Gigi Dennis sign. Is there any discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segolas,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the amendment design contract for the MMOF and the HIFP grant, and to allow for city manager Gigi Dennis to sign.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Receive and approve financial reports, budget amendment resolution 2025-18. Still have a chance.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have in your packet a proposed budget amendment for the 2025 budget. I don't believe I'll go through every item unless you really want me to, but I will give you a few highlights. In the general fund revenue, I've moved the large projects, the Emergency Operations Center, the EPA grant, and the tree grant from the general fund to the capital construction fund. Now that the projects are underway. I've also removed the grant funds that were received in 2024 that were originally in the 2025 budget. Funds were added for a few smaller grants and donations for specific expenditures in the police department, recreation, streets, and for holiday lights. I've also added the proceeds from the sale of the property, which is now designated as match for the baseball fields. Expenditure wise in the general fund, we've added funds for expenditures paid by the grants and donations received for PD travel, a PD vehicle, the Tim's equipment, holiday lights, recreation equipment, and a punching machine. Our workman's comp audit resulted in a very large invoice this year, not budgeted, that was distributed amongst all departments. Additional funds were added in professional services for the title work on the property, the audit, and legal services. The cost increased for mosquito control, and a late invoice was received from the City Hall stucco project that required a large adjustment. In the Conservation Trust Fund, I reduced revenue as funds were coming in lower than expected. The Airport Fund, we added revenue and expenditures for the patch seal runway project. Kids Connection, we increased revenue for lore grant funds received for the new tables. And I had to increase professional services as our portion paid for AmeriCorps volunteers was higher than what I budgeted. Also, funds were increased to pay for the Wayfinder curriculum that, from what I understand, satisfies the state mandates. In the Water Fund, again, removed revenue funds that were budgeted for 25 that were actually received in 24. And there were some unexpected expenditures for work on the Sherman Wells, so funds were also added in professional services. Sewer fund funds were added for professional services again, and I was able to net those from increased revenue. Capital Improvement Fund funds were added for the match on the airport project. Capital Project Fund funds were added for the projects moved from the general fund, as well as the grant and donation revenue received, and that will be expended for the golf course clubhouse project. In the 1 cent sales tax fund, the ending balance from 2024 was committed to the 2025 budget. That's pretty much it. If there's any questions. If not, I'll read the resolution and ask for your approval. Resolution 2025-18, resolution to amend sums of money for the 2025 budget. Whereas the City Council of the City of Monte Vista has conducted a public hearing to review the proposed 2025 budget in accordance with Home Rule Charter and approved the 2025 budget on November 21st, 2024. And whereas the City of Monte Vista has made provisions therein for revenues in the amount equal to or greater than the total proposed expenditures as set forth in said budget. And whereas it is not only required by law and the City of Monte Vista Home Rule Charter, but also, if necessary, amend the revenues and expenditures provided in the budget and for the purpose described below as not to impair the operation of the city. And whereas year-end 2024 resulted in an increase of $489,664 in unreserved fund balance for expenditures in 2025. Whereas $162,735 will increase general fund budget expenditures in 2025. Whereas the 1 cent sales tax fund remaining fund balance at December 31st, 2024 of $641,157 is available for purposes designated. And whereas the city will increase budgeted 1 cent expenditures by $412,978 and reserve the remaining balance of $228,179 as the 1 cent advisory committee recommended. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Monte Vista to amend the appropriation of funds, the following sums are hereby appropriated for the following funds. And then if everything's cool with you, we'll get this puppy signed.
I'd make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-18 as read.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2025-18 as read. Any discussion? Anita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Watson.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala.
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve resolution 2025-18 for the 2025 budget amendment.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to staff proposal reports and actions. Anita? City clerk.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple things. So the first thing I need to present to you this evening is resolution 2025-19. This is not a resolution that you all have to sign, but you all have to approve, and then myself and the city attorney have to sign it. This is a resolution authorizing and directing the city clerk to publish notice of cancellation of the regular city election on November 4th, 2025, and declaring the election of candidates. The reason I am presenting this to you this evening is we have the mayor's seat and 2 positions open. The date for petitions to be signed and turned in was August 25th. And then August 29th was the date for the final cure of signatures. I only had one petition for mayor and 2 petitions for the 2 council seats. And with that being said, the mayor's position was proved to be legitimate and all signatures were approved. And then the 2 council seats that were submitted for petition, one of those has been rejected due to the lack of signatures. So I have 1 position that has been filled and 1 position that will remain open as a council seat. So whereas Article 1, Section 2-130 of the Monte Vista Municipal Code authorizes, if only matter before the voters in the election of persons to office, and if there are not more candidates than offices to be filled at such election, including candidates filling affidavits in intent to set forth in Section 2-120, the city clerk must certify that fact to city council, and it shall hold a meeting and by resolution shall instruct the city clerk to cancel the election and shall declare the candidates elected. And whereas notice of such cancellation shall be published, if possible, and notice of such cancellation shall be posted at each polling place in not less than 1 of the public places. Whereas the close of business on the 60th day of the city election scheduled for November 4th, 2025, for purposes of filing 3 vacancies on the city council, 2 council members and 1 mayor, that where not more than candidates' offices to be filled, including candidates filling the affidavit of intent. And whereas the only duly qualified candidates for vacancy of the city council on the 64th day before the election are for council are Horacia Naranjo, and the mayor position will be Dale Becker, and leaving 1 open council seat. Whereas there are no ballot issues to be decided on the November 4th, 2025 election. Now for it, be it resolved that by the City Council of Monte Vista, Section 1, the city clerk is hereby authorized to direct to cancel the regular election scheduled for November 4th, 2025, there being an equal number of candidates and vacancies for council and mayor, and there being no ballot issues to be decided at that election. And Section 2, the city clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish and notice of cancellation of election and declare elected to the city council the following persons to city council for a 4-year term pursuant to the Monte Vista Municipal Charter, Article 2, and the mayor for a 4-year term pursuant to Monte Vista Municipal Charter, Article 2. City council member would be Horacio Naranjo, and the mayor will be Del Becker, leaving 1 city council seat vacant, which upon the seating of the council on January 4th, 2026, that seat would then become appointed by the mayor. Duly moved this second and adopted this 4th day of September 2025.
So they'll actually come on city council until January.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to adopt that. Is it a resolution or?
Yes, it's resolution 2025-19. I have already sent notification to the clerk, the county clerk. They have to have notification by September 2nd that we intend to cancel the election. So this will just follow that up.
Second. It's been moved in second to accept resolution 2025-19. As read.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And Jean, I will just have you sign this with me and then we'll get it over to Cindy. The next thing I have is the fall district meeting for CML is going to be held in Center on September 30th. I need to know if you all are interested in attending. If so, I need to register you by next week. Dale?
I just heard that.
It's not that.
So you going?
When?
September 30th?
October.
October 30th?
October.
October 30th?
Oh, I'm sorry, September 30th
September 30th?
in Center.
Yeah, 6?
Yes.
You need a yes or no tonight?
No, you can let me know by next week. That's fine.
Yeah, the 5 o'clock social hour and then 6 o'clock dinner hour.
How long do those usually last, you know?
They usually. So what they do is they, everybody eats and then they visit. CML comes down and they give some sort of a short presentation. And then each of the municipalities that is in attendance gives a 2 or 3 minute update on what they've got going on. So
Maybe an hour, a little longer.
probably 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's probably a couple hours.
I guess actually put me down. It is here. It's not like I have that
Yeah,
to
it's
travel for.
No, and it's a good opportunity for you guys to meet other council members.
Actually, I work with a lot of the people from Seminole all the time anyway. So
It's interesting.
It's at the La Sierra Bar, 380 Worth Street.
And I'll send all that information out and make sure that you all have those.
Thank you.
And then September 10th, Sursa is having a luncheon at Sky High at 11:30. If you are all interested in attending.
That's Sursa.
That one's always interesting because Sam White, the attorney, comes down, gives a presentation. Gives an overview of what's going on with our workers' comp insurance rates. They always have a big section on what's going on with police departments across the state. And
Elected officials. He does a small section on elected officials.
yeah, I mean, that one's not really interactive. You guys can ask questions and such, but
I won't be able to make it, so I'll be on town man.
And then I don't know if any of you have heard anything or have gotten phone calls or if you will, but we've had quite a few complaints about chickens. And I know the code enforcement officer, myself, Tyler, and BJ have been trying to work through some of the things. And one of the things that our code says now is that in order to have chickens, you have to get your neighbor's approval to have chickens. It seems to be that that is something that we all kind of want to remove from the code. It seems to be kind of, why do we have to get our neighbor's permission to have chickens if they're not causing issues? Is because we have strict rules that they have to be in a run, you know, they have to have a chicken coop. There's rules that go along with being able to have the chickens. They can only have 6 chickens, no roosters. So there was a couple that was issued a citation for having chickens without a chicken license. They did come in within 1 day after getting the citation. The neighbors aren't the ones complaining, and the reason I'm bringing this forward to you is because you all may receive phone calls when they find out that this citation was dismissed. Because the neighbors, it wasn't necessarily the neighbor complaining, it was a friend of the neighbor that was complaining for the neighbors, saying that these 3 chickens were causing havoc and were gonna cause them to catch the bird flu and laying eggs in their yard. And these chickens are well contained within their own yard. But the judge did, however, dismiss this case because they did come in and they did follow the rules immediately after getting the citation. And she also pointed out that it was something that we may want to look at with our code, is removing that section of the code saying that we have to have the neighbor's permission to have chickens in the backyard. So I just wanted to bring that to you, and this was on Washington Street. So if any of you,
I know my wife's dealing with our chicken mess. I told her, like, there's a lot about chickens, so make sure we're proper with ours, but.
yeah, just get a chicken license. And then the last thing I have for you, this is just something that's close to my heart. I'm not asking you to sign a proclamation or anything else. I just want to read something to you all. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Each of us has a greater strength because of another. To empathize collective strengths, or when cancer happens, you don't put life on hold, you live it now. To focus living fully despite the diagnosis. You can also raise awareness with facts like highlighting the early detection. You can lead to effectiveness, treatment, and long active life. So please, please make sure that you all take that into consideration and watch out for each other.
Thank you, Anita. Public Works, Mr. Vance. It's gonna be a tough one to follow.
Just thinking, don't be a chicken, get your chicken license. That's scary. So my report, I'm glad to be back. I'm hoping that with most recent procedures, I will get back to some degree of normalcy, other than my little friends right here. So I'll update you a little bit on what's going on as I know, but please understand I am just, as of yesterday, back in the office, full time. So on the alley project, they did start the west alley. That's the one over there between Adams and Washington. Demo was completed a day or so ago. So they're gonna start doing some excavation here recently. The east alley, they're still working on the sewer. We're finding a few nuances, some lines and stuff that did not expect to find. We've just kind of taken a stance at this point with as many as we found that we're just wiring them back into the new sewer system. We can't figure out exactly where they go. Not real sure, so we're just gonna wire them in just to be safe, to keep the project moving without having a huge downtime. So sewer's next on the East Alley, and then they'll be going up to the storm drain, and then the concrete will start. Once the concrete is poured, then it's 28 days, no driving on it. So that should take us through the end of, we'll just say October. It won't quite be the end of October, but it'll be close enough. So that will be done. We're hoping that we can catch up on the west side and kind of get everything finalized by hopefully, but first part of November, everything will be done. So get everything back to normal there. On the wastewater project, our design and stuff should be reaching getting close. Our site application was received by the state. We had to reapply for our site application due to the timeline. They have received it again, should be more of a formality than anything that we need to do differently. All the subcontractors are slated by the end of August to have their design portions of the plan back to Element. So now that we're in September, we should start seeing some more final designs, and hopefully in the near future, we can bring you something to look at. That'll be pretty close to final. Still planning on bidding this project out early 26 and seeing where the cards lie. And then we'll see the state and see what they say. Because we are under estimations, we're still short. But we're gonna go ahead and try to bid this thing and see where the numbers actually fall. So. On the revitalization Main Street, thank you, DJ. That's the project that does the sidewalk from Dairy Queen up to the new O'Reilly's. Literally right before I came in, I got the permit from CDOT. I went ahead and signed it, kicked it back to them. I now have to schedule with their inspector to meet with myself and the contractor on site, get his signature. And then once he signs off on the paperwork, then I'll send it back to CDOT. They'll sign their portion of it and we'll have a permit within a day after. So we're almost there. We're almost ready. The other one is on the hotel. We are still waiting for some parts to come in. But we are coordinating with Cooley, who's the contractor that's been doing their pipeline work. And he's waiting on a part for the fire hydrant. So once we have all of our parts, then we're gonna wind up shutting Sherman down one time. And we will be putting in the water lines for the hotel, and he'll be putting in the fire hydrant, which are the final requirements from the state inspector, so they can start vertical construction. So they're allowed to do the concrete, the foundation work, but they can't actually go vertical until the water lines are in. So as soon as we get the parts, we're gonna rock and roll. And then shortly after, we'll do the sewer, and we'll keep one lane of Sherman open while we do the sewer. So traffic will be able to flow, but for the water, we'll have to shut down Sherman for a while. And some of the businesses and stuff along Sherman. The good news is when Sky High was rebuilt, we put an extra valve in. So we won't affect the middle school, the veterans home, or any of the stuff east of Sky High. They'll all remain in service. So we'll be good there. And then the last thing I have for council, before I open it up for questions, tonight will be the last night of our scheduled mosquito spray. Tonight, we probably won't finish the complete route and we'll be out of product, and I just don't see the point of buying any more this late in the year. Populations have kind of dried up, so I think we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and call it tonight. So I did send notices, personal notices out to some of the individuals that had some of the biggest issues with our efforts this year, just to let them know that it was coming to an end. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions you may have. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Rob. PD.
How's it going, Tyler?
Good, how are you guys? So I got the stats again for you. Couldn't do a breakdown to add to your packets like we had talked about because I don't get those till. I got these off Wednesday, so I wasn't able to put them in the packet. So calls for service, we had 776. Traffic accidents, 18, reports taken, 85. Code enforcement related calls, 58, 14 arrests, 28 citations issued, 88 traffic stops, and 76 agency assists. So I think it went down a little bit compared to last month, but not much. But I did want to touch on staffing. We just hired a officer out of the local academy. And they will start FTO next week, a 3-month FTO program. Another thing that I have going is a grant, recruit and retention grant. It was supposed to end at the end of this year, but I was able to get an extension till June 30th. It pays for tuition, lodging, and per diem for someone to attend an academy, and we sponsor them. So they would attend the Pueblo Academy, they would stay in a dorm at CSU Pueblo. So that is something that is probably gonna move forward. He's really excited to start. So that's where we're at. That would, if we did that, that would put us down 1 officer, so we're almost fully staffed.
Good.
That's all I have for you, so. Any questions?
Thank you, Tyler. On agency assist, what is that like?
So agency assist would be assisting fire for fire calls, ambulance calls, or other local law enforcement.
Sheriff or state
Sheriff,
patrol?
state patrol, division of wildlife, whatever. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Taylor. IT. Dawes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So, relatively busy month, been a lot of just back end stuff for us. Out at Sky High, after everything that was going on over there, and some of the door issues we're having, everything is updated. And we have one problematic door that is no longer being an issue, so everything over there should be good to go. The network over there, from what I'm aware, is going just grand and haven't heard any issues from the staff that's there currently. I went up to Brighton few weeks ago and picked up some new phones for the entire phone system. That will be a revamp on the current system, so it's at no cost to the city. We in IT did a Google and Active Directory cleanup in conjunction with Shannon as we were having some issues with licensing and just trying to get things ready for the budget season. We had the Monte Vista surplus auction is now up on the City of Alamosa's website. So if you go to cityofalamosa.org, and then go over to the public auctions, the surplus from the Monte Vista auction is up, and I believe it's going till September 15th. We have completed the e-recycling, so everything that was here within City Hall that I had at that time is good to go. It is now sent off and being processed and out of our hands. Other than that, we've just been doing continued security patches of the servers and our desktops and just make sure the network's just running. So, are there any questions?
Thank you for what you guys do.
Yes,
It was good to see you over at the car show.
yes, sir.
All right, city manager report.
Victor, like this, it's a big piece of paper, but it's in this. One thing I wanted to get you all's guidance on is You guys extended our attorney's contract to the end of the year. And so what do you want me to do for January? Right now, the contract is under Farish, Walker and Associates. And so that's through December 31st. So do you want me to put it out for an RFP? Or do we, like, we're thinking about extending that?
What did we do last time? Did we extend it?
Last time you extended it from the end of June to the end of December so that they were on the same cycle as the judge. And so we do have that RFP out for the judge right now. We've had one inquiry. We haven't received anything official.
I don't think you can hurt anything by putting out an RFP.
How long has it been since we put a RFP out?
It's been 2.5 years. And so that's what the contract says is up. It potentially could be up every 2 years.
Okay. RFP.
I got a nod, okay. We've already messed up Judy's budget because this week we got informed by Colette Skeff, who's a former resident of Monte Vista. She wanted to make another investment in the Faith Hinckley Veterans Memorial Park. So we've picked out, or I picked out, she approved 3, I think, pretty cool statues that should be here by Veterans Day. And now that Rob's back, and thank you, Rob, glad to have you back. He suggested that we put it on a concrete pedestal, and Colette said she would cover those costs as well. So this is close to a $20,000 donation. So it'll be pretty cool in the park. So thank you, Colette. The 1 Cent Committee is meeting this next Wednesday, the 10th of September at 5 o'clock here at the administration conference room. Want to remind everybody the Potato Festival is this Saturday. Kicks off with a 5K run at 8:30 if you're interested, and then the park is opened up from 10 until I believe 6, somewhere in that time frame. Also on Saturday, the golf course is doing an open house / fundraiser that starts at 1 o'clock. So if you haven't, it's not completed yet, but the shell's up and it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna be really functional, and I think that they're gonna enjoy it very much. And then on September the 15th, I will be out of the office for the next 2 weeks with a hip replacement. I thought that was only for 90-year-olds, but
Victor, congratulations.
and so, yeah. And so, depending upon how I feel, I will zoom in on the 18th, or I may not.
You ain't gonna feel good, I tell you that.
But I'll make sure that if anything needs to be shared, that we will meet up, or whoever, whatever department it impacts, somebody will update you all.
All right, thank you, Gigi.
Thank you. And we have a work session following this.
Council committee, city commission, and council reports. Victor.
I don't have anything.
Mr. Howard.
Nope, not tonight.
Brad.
Nothing profound for me.
Well, a week ago, I think it was, I let Gigi know, but I got a call from a county commissioner that's on his way to Alamosa. Somebody had a yard sale out by across from Sonic. And they left a pile of crap. And I mean, it was bad. So when they called me, they told me, so I ran over and looked at it. And I called it in to the non-emergency number just so we'd have evidence in regards if we could catch whoever did it. Cause I was furious. Cause there was so much junk, so Sergeant Chacon and Jessica came. And, of course, they did what they needed to do. And I asked who was on call at that point, and it was Junior. You guys call him Junior?
No.
Okay. They told me his name,
So,
okay, that's who it was. He came and the two officers, myself, and then there was a citizen drove by with his son. And they stopped and helped clean that mess up, and it filled the back of the pickup. It filled it full. There was concrete bags, there was just trash. So thank you to the PD, thank you to Junior and the citizen that stopped with his son to help clean that up, because that was, I wasn't gonna leave it. It literally looked like you were driving down the dump road to come into Monte Vista, so we took care of it. And outside of that, community, if you see something, say something. Don't think your words aren't heard. If you call it in, they log it. That helps the PD be able to take more evidence toward any complaints that's going on in your neighborhood. So if you see something, say something.
Yep, and photos and video or some way of documenting and logging it for us.
Okay. So take pictures.
Pictures.
Okay. All right, with that being said, enjoy the Potato Festival this weekend. No, I don't think I'm gonna be in the dump tank, so y'all are not gonna get to go throw the ball at me. So that we will recess this meeting until September 18th, 6 p.m. here at council chambers.